So here is our Joy-Con that was drifting. So my specific case is a right Joy-Con. Opening up the left Joy-Con is a little bit different, but this is, what I'm working with right here. And while I already had all the tools on hand and I just bought Joy-Con sticks, you can buy some kits like what I'm going to throw up on screen for about $10. That includes all of the tools as well as the new part. If you already have the tools on hand and all you're doing is buying a thumbstick, the two things that you need, a 00 Phillips bit as well as a 1.5 tri-wing bit. You only need the tri-wing to get the back screws off. All the inside screws are the 00 Phillips. And aside from the two screwdriver bits, the only other thing I'd probably recommend is a guitar pick or something. You don't need it, but it makes it a little easier to crack it open if the Joy-Con hasn't been opened before. Also, it can help you move the battery out of the way. I'm going to start with that 1.5 tri-wing bit here. There's only 4 screws in the back that use this bit. Nintendo likes to use security screws, but they only use them on the outside, so once you're inside, you can use a regular Phillips screwdriver. Keep your screws organized. So I'm just gonna put all these guys up here. Alright, that's our shell screws. To crack the Joy-Con open, you just kind of find the seam on the side, and you get anything like guitar pick or whatever, and you just kind of run it around. Then once it's open, you just kind of open it like a little book. Now there's some really fragile ribbon cables, 2 of them, connecting the main board to the rail. So my best advice is to not unplug them and just work around them, because if you unplug them, trying to plug them back in, they tear really easily, and I've had lots of issues with them. Working around it's the best thing that you could do. So this bottom ribbon cable is for the actual connection for the rail, for it, handheld mode and stuff. This top connection is for the buttons and the lights and stuff right here. Get a better look at your locking mechanism for it to lock on the switch, but that's not what we're here for. So they have a little antenna right here, specifically with the right Joy-Con. This is in the left Joy-Con, but you gotta pull this up and kind of move it out of the way. Gonna let it hang right there. To get the battery out of the way, don't use anything made out of metal, like a flathead screwdriver or any metal pry tools, because you'll puncture the battery. I recommend just using something plastic. Once again, like a guitar pick. You can easily just get the battery out of there. Seldom with a little bit of adhesive, but it comes out really easily. So you can unplug the battery and everything as you go in the antenna, but I'm going to leave everything plugged in. There are 3 Phillips screws that we have to worry about now. One of them's there, it's there. The third one is in this bottom corner right here. Let's switch to our 00 Phillips bit here. Alright. So there's only 3 screws for the mid-frame of the Joy-Con. They're these goldish, silvery looking ones. Even though they're the same as some other screws, I still advise you to keep your screws organized. So far, you only have the back screws and then the 3 mid-chassis screws, mid-frame screws here. Once you remove those 3 screws, you can lift up on this mid-section here, and then just fold it over the side like this. And you can unplug, this is the ribbon cable for the right trigger. You can unplug that if you'd like, or you can just leave it and work around it. Connector that we're after. So this is our stick right here. This is the connector that we have to undo to take the stick out. What you want to do is pry up on it like that, the cable out. And then after that, there's a single Phillips screw here, and then a single Phillips screw here. Sure, they're the same screw type as the mid-frame, but I still would advise you not to mix screws. So make sure you use your Phillips bit, not your tri-wing bit. Tri-wing's only for the outside screws. And then you can pull your old bad stick out. So obviously you can unplug everything as you go, but if you just leave it like me, you'll have this little bundle of parts right here. So it's different for the left Joy-Con, but for the right Joy-Con, the exact plug that you disconnected the stick from, you place this in that orientation, just like this. And you just push it in. You take your 2 screws that you removed from your other stick module, and then you just screw this new stick in. Now it's a bit tricky to plug this ribbon cable back in for the stick, so I won't really be able to show it on camera, but you have to make sure that the plastic latch on the plug here is up, the gray plastic latch, so that the ribbon cable can feed in. Once you make sure it's up, you can get some kind of plastic tool or some tweezers and push it in, but I won't be able to show it on camera because I'll have to work with it here. Alright, I just got the stick plugged in, but the little plastic latch is still up, so it's going to flip that. And then you're done, your new stick's in. Earlier I took this out just because it was wanting to fall out, but if your bumper comes off, you just line up the spring with this little pad here. And then your bumper's back in. Make sure the antenna and battery wires don't get stuck under this frame because it won't sit right. But you just place the frame exactly how it came out of the shell earlier. And then once again, screw there, screw there, screw there. So once you have the mid frame all back together, you can take your battery and just flip it right back over. There's still some adhesive left, so the battery shouldn't fall out. You should be able to press it back in and it'll stay. And then you take this antenna right here and then you run it back in the little channel where it came from and put the antenna on the side right there. Alright, so we have the antenna placed back in here and it looks like I accidentally turned the switch on, so the controller's on, but that's fine. And once you make sure that everything's plugged in properly, like you didn't unplug the battery or you didn't tear any ribbon cables, once you make sure that everything works, which you should pair it to the switch to make sure it works before you close it up, which I already did, you can go ahead and start screwing the screws in the back in. Go ahead and click it all the way around and everything should snap together. So here's our finished product, but not quite yet. We still have these security bits that need to go back in. Alright, so there you go. That's how you replace a stick in your Joy-Con. If you have stick drift, they're only about 10 bucks. So we're back in the calibration menu here, so let's put this controller back on. Now it's completely dead center. No drift at all. You can make little circles and stuff. So yeah, that's how you can fix your stick drift for about 10 bucks, including tools. Now these tools aren't exactly what you're going to get. I just already had tools on hand. The sticks are all from the same manufacturer, but you can get tools bundled in for about 10 bucks if you just don't have any already. But if you already have tools, you can go ahead and order just the stick. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this was able to help you out. And that's all for me. I'm out. Peace.